All right, what's up, guys? Rob of the SteelTwins coming back at you with another week of predictions. We are on to week 10. We are in the double digits of the NFL season already. Just like in a blink of an eye, we're already here. It goes to show how quick the NFL season's already going, but we're going to try and enjoy it while it's here. But I do have a special guest with me today, another Discord OG member. We have Meme Steeler, a.k.a. Brennan. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Steelers are good.
Yeah, Steelers are good. They're coming off a bye, fully healthy. They should be getting some extra guys back as well. But, they got a big anticipated matchup coming, but we'll get to it, when we do. But, all right, Thursday Night Football, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens, AFC North matchup right here. What's your prediction?
I'm going with the Ravens. I like how they look so far. They got a good offense. They can throw. They can run. Their defense has looked a little bit suspect, but they had a good game last week against Denver. I thought Denver was going to, expose them, but they put up a good showing. Cincinnati, I like them, but they just hadn't had that look of a good team so far. It's been very weird for them, especially you have Zach Moss out. The running back room kind of, and Higgins is still out too. So we'll see, but I think Baltimore closes this one.
Yeah, Cincinnati's kind of bruised up, and they're just a team that you don't really know what to expect. One week they'll get blown out, the other week they'll do the blowout. It's just like it's kind of weird for Cincinnati at the moment, and yeah, they're banged up. Baltimore losing to Cleveland, they obviously showed, how pissed off they were against Denver, and they blew them out completely at home. And considering they're on a short week, but they're still at home, I think all odds are on Baltimore for this one. Though I do think coming off a 5-touchdown performance by Joe Burrow for the second time this year, I do think they will keep it close. I mean, it's always going to be competitive and close and hard-hitting with AFC North football, but I think
Always.
I think Baltimore just gets a victory, but I don't think Cincinnati I don't think they go down without a fight. But Sunday matchups to start off, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, all the way in Germany. We got a terrible matchup to wake up to. We got the New York Giants at the Carolina Panthers. What's your prediction for this one?
My prediction is, why did the NFL allow this to happen? I'll get to my pick, but I just want to ask, what was the NFL thinking when they made this the matchup? Both these teams are really bad. What did Germany do to deserve this? Let's be fair here.
Yeah, like, of all the
I
teams,
got New York in this one,
all right.
but Jesus.
Yeah, of all the teams to send all the way to Germany, like these two teams, I don't know what they were thinking. Like a matchup of Daniel Jones and Bryce Young is not must see in my opinion, obviously. But I guess for Germany, they rarely get games. They get about a game or two a year now.
I think it's 2 games a year.
Yeah, that's the new thing the NFL's trying out. So like they're trying to get games out there, and fans over there, they'll go to a game since they rarely get it. It's an international game, but I don't know. Like this game, I see it being defensive, but not in a good way. I can see this being full of turnovers and just sloppy football. But if I had to pick a team, I'm going to go with the Giants just because I think they have the far better skill players. But that might not be really saying much. But I don't think Bryce Young really is gelling well. I mean, it's the Panthers, and the Panthers, like they're not a well run.
The Panthers aren't a good team.
No.
You can just tell. They just trade away the receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the New York compared to it. They got great receivers in the league neighbor, and they got the rookie they drafted, Tyrone. He's good too. So they're clearly a better team than Carolina is.
Yeah, if anything, compared to Carolina, New York's got something going. They're trying to build for the future. Carolina, not exactly. It's pretty much like they're just
Dead in the water.
Yeah, and they're trying to do a yard sale or whatnot before the trade deadline. So just like take whatever players and we'll take whatever. So if I had to pick a team, I'm going New York here, but not by much. Next game, we got the New England Patriots at the Chicago Bears. What's your prediction?
Going with Chicago here. I like them. Their defense pretty good. That's kept them in the game so far. Offense has been they're getting there. It's not perfect, but can't remember who they play last week.
They played. Yeah, they got blown out by Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Arizona can't believe kicked their ass.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is New England. I think New England's going to give them a matchup for sure. They got some decent pieces, but they're not perfect either. They're at least better than maybe Carolina is, but close game. I think Chicago wins this one. I think their defense really helps them in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Chicago's they've lost two straight and devastating fashion at that too. Chicago's going to want to try to get back on the win column and get some momentum. New England, they went to overtime with Tennessee, but they lost that matchup. Drake May in there. I've stated since he's been in there, it's a more well-ran offense and more well-ran team. They're more competitive. They're more skillful and guys get more involved. But I don't know. It's like Chicago. They're going back home in Chicago and they're hosting New England, and they need a win badly in a very competitive division. And it's been a bit since Caleb Williams has really gotten anything going on that offense. I kind of sense this game being where Chicago finally gets some momentum and gets back to how they were when they won 3 straight games, dating back to week 4. So I'm gonna go with Chicago to get the win here at home. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. What's your prediction?
Going with Buffalo. Starting off this season, I didn't think they were going to be a good team. I figured their Super Bowl win is over, but they've looked good so far. The only problem with them that I see, they've had weak matchups so far. Their wins, the 2 losses came to the Texans and the Ravens, and looked really bad in those games, except for the Texans. There was a pretty close game there. But Indianapolis isn't going to be much of a challenge. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that, but because you never know on a Sunday. But if they do what they've been doing well, they should win. Colts have a bit of a quarterback problem, as we all know. It's just been regressed from last year. I mean, we didn't see enough of him to really know, get a good look at him. But Flacco really didn't show up last week. So they're in a tricky situation, but I think Buffalo should have this by default.
Yeah, I mean Buffalo's won 4 straight. You have mentioned that their schedule is kind of light outside of the 2 losses they've sustained, which at the time, the Ravens are the Ravens. They're a good regular season team, and the Texans were fully healthy before they just got hit with the injury bug badly. But I mean, the Bills, I still find them as a competitive and good football team. The rookies, Keon Coleman and Ray Davis, they're stepping up. Also, Amari Cooper, he should be back this week, and James Cook is also a very valuable asset at running back for the team. Their defense is doing good too.
Cooking.
Big time. No pun intended. The Colts, they're better ran with Joe Flacco in there, though that's not really saying much. And though they were close against Minnesota last week on Sunday night, it's just I don't find the Colts as a convincing team this year. It's just a team that's just pretty much just trying to see what they got, and just basically at this moment, they're going with Joe Flacco for the rest of the season. They're going to have Richardson sit and learn and develop, which he obviously needs. He was not ready come week 1, and though I could see this game being competitive maybe early on, it's just kind of hard to bet against Buffalo at the moment. Even on the road, winning 4 straight, a lot of momentum, a lot of guys. Just balling out in performance. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo to get the win here, and they go 5 straight.
They should run away with this game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs, a divisional matchup here. Do I need to ask what your prediction is?
I'm going with the Evil Empire, obviously, or the Meteor. Yeah, Casey's looked pretty well so far. I mean, they haven't been perfect. I mean, no team really is, except for them. But their offense, they've had very close games. Let's just say that. Even yesterday's game, last night, was very close, came down to the wire. Hopkins, definitely a very worthy acquisition for them. Definitely going to help them out in the stretch with injuries. But I don't see Denver beating them. I mean, if the Chiefs underestimate Denver, Denver can definitely get the win off. I mean, I want to believe in them, but they're very pedestrian right now at 5-4. I don't know if they can take off the Chiefs. They're the Chiefs.
At the end of the day, they're the Chiefs. They got Mahomes and Andy Reid. Though their games are competitive and they're close, it's like you can never doubt Mahomes on what he's going to do.
No, never.
Denver, I mean, they had a very good hot streak going on for a little bit, and Bo Nix as well. But last week they got just blown out on the road by Baltimore, 41-10. Now they go back on the road again against a divisional matchup that, just based off that, it could be close, and Denver could really hang around in there for this matchup, especially, that defense looking to bounce back big time. It's just the Chiefs, they're just too good, too well coached, the additions they brought in. You mentioned Hopkins. I mean, he's been one hell of an asset since becoming a Chief. Kareem Hunt's a very good back filling in for Pacheco, and that defense is just making
Hopkins had
plays
a
and
day
holding their
yesterday.
own. What was that?
Hopkins had a freaking day yesterday. He went off.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns and
Like
whatnot.
2
I mean,
touchdowns. I don't know how many yards, but
not to
it's
mention,
insane.
Travis Kelce. Like, he's really starting to get involved now, big time. It's just at the moment they're unstoppable. They're the only undefeated team in the league, and I think that remains the case. I just don't see Denver really knocking the Chiefs off and giving them the first loss. I can't see that. So, I mean, it's just hard to bet against Kansas City. So I'm gonna go with KC here. Next game, we got another divisional matchup. We got the Atlanta Falcons that are on a hot streak right now with Kirk Cousins going to New Orleans to face the Saints, who just fired their previous head coach in Dennis Allen, hoping to get off a 7-game losing streak. But it's going to be a tough challenge.
7 games.
What's your prediction for this one?
Go with Atlanta. I mean, if you're not in the know, this is a very tough matchup. These teams hate each other. But Atlanta has really found their groove. Like, beginning of the season, these two were opposites. The New Orleans look hot. They look very hot. And Atlanta now has kind of picked up momentum. It's just night and day with these teams. Atlanta has really found their groove with the receivers. I was coming to this season, I wasn't so confident in them after picking Michael Penix. For first round, I figured, why don't you go receiver there? I mean, they've been able to find, a gold mine of receivers. They still have Drake London and Mooney too from the Bears. Has insanely balled off this year. He's been really good for them, and I think they have good enough tools to do it. New Orleans has been hit with injuries, and they just don't look good. So, taking Atlanta here,
Yeah,
they're gonna win this game.
yeah, and I don't blame you one bit for picking it. I mean, like, Atlanta's just very good right now. They're putting up points. Cousins is just
They're on fire.
connecting with his targets. The running game is very good. The defense is stepping up big, causing turnovers, making plays. That whole Falcons team is just looking as advertised, when they came into the regular season. It was a slow start, but, they're really getting things going. After week 2, the Saints just completely fell off. Like, they haven't duplicated anything close to what they did. I know injuries have really knocked them off, and, they're dealing with that. But Dennis Allen was just not a good head coach for them this year. I mean, 7 straight losses, and, most recently to the Panthers. I mean, like, there's no way you're going to keep your job after that. I'm not sure who's going to be their interim head coach. I don't know if that was determined yet. But honestly, for this week, I needed an upset. I need to pick an upset in the weekly prediction group that I'm in with Yandra Mack. Shout out to him. I'm going to go with the Saints to knock off the Falcons, surprisingly. It's just, they're making changes, honestly, they could be a team, looking to trade some of their players. I heard that Marshawn Lattimore, talks about him or heating up or warming up, whatever the term is. We'll see what the Saints do, because they could absolutely need a complete reset. Maybe that's what they're looking for, but just for the sake of picking an upset, I'm going to go with the Saints here. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta were to just completely roll right past them and go to 7-3. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Next game, we should have a good competitive matchup here. We got the San Francisco 49ers coming off a bye at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's your prediction?
I'm with San Fran there. I could easily pick Tampa Bay and still be right about it because they played a hell of a game yesterday against the Chiefs. I think San Fran, I mean, we were getting vibes of 2020 here where they look kind of injury bugged and just weren't themselves. But I think they just win this. They squeaked this one out barely. They're not what we saw in the Super Bowl or last year, but I think they're still a good enough football team. They're using Kittle. I mean, they lost some receivers, which is not good. But, next man up mentality, you just got to go out and play. So I got San Fran in this one. Tampa Bay looks good. They're the same problem, really. Receivers, it's, around the league, everyone's out. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
not much to say, really.
I mean, I'll give Tampa Bay this, despite the injuries that they have sustained. I mean, they're remaining competitive. Like, you got to give Tampa Bay that, like Mike Evans, he's still going to be out. Godwin's injury was just unfortunate to see, and what Baker's having to deal with,
Unnecessary, really.
and just what the team's having to deal with. I mean, they've lost 3 straight, though they have remained very competitive and kept the games close. There's no doubt Tampa Bay needs a big win. It's just going up against the 49ers, though it's at Tampa Bay, so they have home field advantage. A 49ers team coming off a very necessary bye. McCaffrey's back at practice. I don't know if he'll be available for this game. If he is, that will be huge.
Probably not.
Nonetheless,
a calf strain, whatever it was.
yeah, I mean, nonetheless, McCaffrey, whenever he's back, it's going to be a great ad for San Francisco. It's going to be what they need, though. Jordan Mason has done a very good job filling in. But the injuries on San Francisco, both teams are dealing with injuries, but, they have guys that are stepping up, the next man up mentality. But if I had to pick a winner for this, I think I'm going to go with San Francisco on the road. It's just in a division that is up for grabs for anybody to NFC West. San Francisco, they're going to have to get something going. But, I still feel they're well coached and a well thought out and developed team that can still make plays and execute. Though I sense this being very close and could come down to a field goal based off what Tampa Bay has done within the last number of weeks. It's kind of hard to bet against San Francisco, at least in my opinion, so I'm going to go with San Fran to get the win. Next game, we got another team coming off a bye. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road against the Washington Commanders. What is your prediction?
Ooh, this is going to be a good game. Let me just say that. I love both these teams. They look amazing. But I'm going with the Steelers for one reason. I like our defense and I like our offense. We play the Ravens 2 times a year, and we can always kick their ass. I'm sure we can do the same with Washington. I like how our defense has been playing. Our offense has been ticking. I wasn't really a fan of the decision to bench Fields, but Russell has really shown up and done what Fields hasn't, and that is throw the ball really well. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. Washington, I like them, but and what to say on Washington? They're a good football team, but they're up and coming, and I definitely think they're winning the division this year. But it's just it's first year team. You got to be a bit pessimistic maybe, but this is going to be lights out football. It's going to be a very close. It's going to definitely come out with 1-score game, but I think Pittsburgh, that Deus Ex Machina, is the way to a win.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this game's going to be competitive. I got to give the Commanders props. I mean, they're 7-2. They're first place in their division. They've won 3 straight and in very solid fashion at that. Most recently coming off a win against division rival New York Giants. Steelers coming off a much-needed bye for them, to get healthier and work on their negatives, which is, very few, but, they still got them, which they got to clean up for the second half of the season, which is obviously, once again, brutal.
Opportunities they need to convert on.
Yeah, and this is a first big test against Commanders that are not to be taken lightly, not to be underestimated. The Commanders are led by Jaden Daniels, who's had a very good rookie campaign, and he's slinging the ball, using his legs, just a very smart and athletic quarterback. The future is bright, no doubt about the Commanders and their future with Jaden Daniels and maybe even Dan Quinn, a head coach. It's just, again, major props to what the Commanders have assembled and what they've done. But I'm going to go with the Steelers to get the win here because they're going to need it for sure. It would really prove to the NFL and just about everybody, that this team can be taken seriously. And the Steelers just need this win big time. They're going to get guys that are going to be healthy. And to get a win on the road, they already underdog in this game, which is, kind of understandable based off, what the Commanders have done. But Steelers coming off 3 straight wins and off a bye, to get healthier and just doing what they need to do to work on. It's just, this is a big test for the Steelers. I hope that they come out and prevail and showcase, the talent and potential they got, especially with Russ at quarterback, who's done a very, very good job within his first 2 games as a starter. I hope it continues, and I do think it does continue, so I'm going to go with the Steelers to get the victory here, but this game should be one of the more must-see matchups this upcoming week. Very competitive. It could come down to a field goal from one of these kickers for sure, but I'm going to go with the Steelers to get the win here and go to 7-2 and remain first place in the AFC North, which would just be huge. Next game, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's your prediction for this one?
Going with Minnesota. The fact that Doug Peterson still has a job in Jacksonville tells you everything that's wrong with that team right now. Like, they just have not been good at all. Like, they pulled a win out of their ass in London, and it's like, what are they doing? Like, I mean, they had a good game against Philadelphia, but that was more Nick Sirianni choking the game away. I just don't like how Jacksonville looks right now, and it's like, do I really expect them to win any games? Not really. Minnesota, they looked good. They had a hot start so far, but they've sort of cooled down as things have gone on. I think they need to find the tempo again, but they should have this one in the bag. They got Hawkinson back recently. He didn't do too much in the primetime game, but I think he'll have to step up for them. But
Yeah.
overall, I think Minnesota just seems going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, like, Minnesota, they got a win on primetime, which is much needed after coming off 2 straight losses to Detroit and LA. But, Vikings, I still view them as a very good team. Darnold's still doing a good job filling in this year. You mentioned Hawkinson. Just give him a couple more weeks, then, he'll get back in the groove. He'll get more involved and just be a part of that dynamic offense with Aaron Jones. Great plus for them compared to last year, and Justin Jefferson is just on another level. The Jags is just, I'll give them this. They've been more competitive. They've been playing better football than they were earlier, but that's not really saying much considering they're still 2-7. Though last week I would say, that they had the upside to beat Philadelphia in that second half because, like you said, Nick Sirianni was about to choke that game. Like, Philly just got lucky in that game last week. I didn't find Philly to be convincing to allow the Jaguars to get 23 unanswered points in the second half. It's for a team like Philly and the potential they got and the talent that they got.
You can't allow that to happen. You can't let that happen.
No, of course not. But Jacksonville, they could have won last week, but like Lawrence threw a game-ending interception. It's like goes to show the type of quarterback Lawrence still is, and how that team in general is just not a well-coached football team. I don't know how long Peterson lasts in Jacksonville, but for this matchup, I mean, you kind of have to go with Minnesota. They're just better, well-coached and just, better talent and just trying to get back on the momentum wave and just get guys involved. So I got to go to Minnesota here. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans, who just won in overtime against New England, against the Los Angeles Chargers, who just beat Cleveland in very good fashion. What's your prediction?
And now, go Chargers, go. I like them. I like the Chargers look very good. Coming into this year, I wasn't super confident. I figured, okay, maybe they'll look all right with their team, but they hit on their draft. Ladd McConkey, Joe Alt. Ugh, it's beautiful. And they got their running backs, JK and Gus from the Ravens. They've just been killing it. JK has been out there just tearing it up. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee looks great. They can really put a dent into the Chiefs if they want to. I think they can this year. They probably end their undefeated streak when they play them. But Tennessee just does not look good comparatively. They are just a tanking team. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. They're trading away pieces. They're in rebuild mode. It's just over for them.
Yeah, rebuild mode after making all the additions that they did in the offseason, especially on that defense. It's just not paying off
and
well.
And Calvin Ridley, too.
Not paying.
Wasting him.
It's just not paying off for Tennessee. Like their head coach, is not a good start. Their organization is they've just made very stupid decisions, like trading away Hopkins to the Chiefs. It's like, why would you do that? But, I guess the 4th rounder was just very enticing for them, or whatever it was. I can't remember. Nonetheless, I mean, like
it was like a day 3 pick. It wasn't that much. It's like for a guy of that skill position to the Chiefs, who really need receivers, and you don't give them the big price for it. It's just a waste. It's like, what are you doing?
It just goes to show Tennessee and their organization just not well. I mean, they traded away A.J. Brown and tried to replace him with Traylon Burke, who's on IR right now. It's like, just Tennessee's not a good football team. Their offense, it's better ran with Mason in there. I've stayed at I think the past 2 weeks, but again, not by much. I mean, like Pollard's pretty much been the guy for them on the ground. He's done a very, very good job this year. But that's pretty much the only player that they got on offense, if I had to be real with you. The Chargers, they got guys stepping up. Dobbins on his way to a 1,000-yard season. Great for Dobbins, a resurrection of his career with the other Harbaugh brother. And past 2 weeks, they won 2 straight. They've won in very, very good fashion. Receivers are stepping up. McConkey, Quinion Johnston. Like, they're 5-3 right now. They're doing very good. Impressive at that, actually. So, it's kind of hard to go up against to pick against the Chargers right here. I mean, it's a favorable matchup for them. And at home, too, I got to go with the Chargers here. Next game, we got a NFC East divisional matchup, a classic one. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys that will be without Dak Prescott for a minimum of 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. What is your prediction?
The real question is, who wants to lose more, Philly or Dallas? I think it's Dallas just because they're injured. Philadelphia, we talked recently about it when we mentioned the Jaguars. Just not lit up potential. I mean, Saquon's insane. He's crazy, but these games should even be close for them. They should be dominating every game they play, and they're just not doing it. Why is that? The coaching is really bad. Dallas, they're all in, apparently. I mean, looks like they're all out now with Dak being out. I don't know what the situation with CeeDee Lamb's going to be, but they just don't look good. This is not their year. It's never been their year. Give me Philadelphia.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like, again, Philly's not, they're 6-2, but I don't find them as that convincing of a team. The only blowout that they really, had that they look convincing was against Cincinnati 2 weeks ago. But like, again, with the Bengals, it's like, you don't know which week, what kind of Bengals you're going to get that week. But Dallas is just, it's going to be a miserable season for them if it hasn't been already. They're off 3 straight losses. I mean, the defense can't stop anything, especially the run. Dak being out, that doesn't help them whatsoever. But Dak wasn't really having a great season in general. I mean, the $60 million man. I mean, like Jerry Jones being the GM and running that team.
Jerry Jones needs to go. He should be gone. The fact that the guy is still the GM, it tells you everything wrong with this franchise.
And as long as he sticks around, that franchise will forever be in the dirt. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. Cooper Rush will be in at quarterback for the next 4 weeks, and their next 4 games are just going to be – they're pretty much going to be in hell if they're not already. That's a luck to Dallas, but it's like, I mean, like, I don't think anyone's going to have any sympathy for you. Give me Philadelphia to win here. They based off the injuries and how Dallas has played, I could see them winning in a blowout. But if this game's close, I mean, I think that's just a testament on Philadelphia and how non-convincing I believe that they are. But nonetheless, I think Philly gets the win. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals, who are looking very surprising lately. What's your prediction?
Go with Arizona. This is the mid-off game. Both these teams are kind of just all right. Arizona looks better than they did last year. I'll say that. The New York Jets, it's really pick and choose with them. I don't know what you're gonna get really. I mean, they had 3 or 4 games losing when they fired their head coach way too early, Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Now they got their win finally last week. I just don't see them winning this game. I think Arizona they got too good of a rhythm going. I think they'll close this game out. New York, they're cursed. That's all I got to say about New York. They're just cursed. They sold their soul for Super Bowl 3, and they're still cursed.
Yeah, they tried to sell their soul for Aaron Rodgers, and it's just like, well, is it really going to pay off?
Hasn't worked out.
No.
They were better last year with Zach Wilson.
Man, that's
insane to think about.
Damn. Like, go to show, how burnt out or how out of touch Aaron Rodgers really is. I mean, before the Texans win, they lost 5 straight. They got their win against Houston. I mean, good for them. It was at home. It was a necessary win for them. I can't lie there. But the Cardinals, they're 5-4, which leaves them at first place in the division. But then again, the NFC West, it's up for grabs. But I mean, Arizona.
Everyone's even in the division. Everyone's like 4-4, 3-4.
Yeah,
everyone's all tied up.
They're in for that division. Like, it's up for grabs for anybody. But Arizona, I mean, the past 3 games they've won. They're on a 3-game win streak, which is very impressive for them. Kyler Murray's been playing better football. Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting involved. James Conner's just on a roll. Good for Conner. Trey McBride's a great tight end for them. Defense stepping up. Cardinals are looking good. Jets are coming off a necessary win. I can see this game going either way. I really could. It could really come down to who's going to turn over the ball a lot more. But if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with Arizona. I just don't see the Jets. They have the talent. There's no doubt about it. I don't think anyone's denying the talent. It's just they don't know how to get it all together. They don't know how to put the pieces together. The Cardinals, they got something brewing. They got something going. They're going to want to try to continue to build that up. Plus, where they rank in the division, I just feel like for this game, they're going to want it more. give me Arizona here. I just don't see the Jets winning 2 straight. I don't. But Sunday night, we should have an intriguing matchup here. We got the
It'll be a great game.
Detroit Lions team that are just on fire right now at the Houston Texans that need a win badly. What's your prediction?
Going with the destroyer of kneecaps, the Detroit Football Lions. This team is on a mission, and that mission is a Super Bowl win. And trust me, they'll get there. I like how they look. They just upgraded on their edge by trading for the Darius Smith from Cleveland. They're gonna get back on that defense. They want a Super Bowl. They want it badly. Nothing's gonna stop them. Houston looks all right. They lost a few receivers. I think they probably make the playoffs, but I just don't think they're gonna win against Detroit. Detroit's just an unstoppable monster right now. They really want to win, and they're gonna do it. Nothing's gonna stop them.
No, not at all. I mean, Detroit, they're on a 6-game win streak since losing to Tampa Bay back in week 2. Detroit's just on another level, just dominant, just good football at that. Jared Goff's playing very good quarterback play once again. The running back group is just so filthy, so dominant. They got him paired up for another 3 years still, which is just filthy. But props to Detroit, props to Dan Campbell. I mean, like, no team is standing in their way. Like, it's all or nothing for Detroit right here. Like, they're the one team that is very convincing in that conference that could just run to the Super Bowl and potentially win it. They have the potential for sure. Houston, they still got a good record, 6-3. They're still first place. They're sitting comfortably at first place, but they've sustained injuries left and right, especially at wide receiver. Like, all they got is Tank Dell and just nothing but depth. And CJ Stroud, even with the targets, like, Stroud wasn't really lighting the league on fire like he was last year.
No, not at all. He's been kind of mid this season, which is unfortunate for him because I had a lot of high hopes for him.
Yeah, I think everybody did. I mean, don't get me wrong. Stroud's still a very good quarterback. It's just nothing's really clicking at the moment as far as the passing attack goes. Then again, the receivers are hurt, but, they still got a good running back in Joe Mixon they could lean on. And the defense, they'll have games here and there, where guys will make plays. That pass rush, I will say, is a no joke. But, for this game, Detroit is just on fire, but Houston needs a win, a good one at that. It's just really hard to bet against Detroit at the moment, even on the road. But this should be a very fun game. It's a good game for Sunday night. Goff versus Stroud, Dan Campbell versus D'Amico Ryans. You honestly can't ask for a better Sunday night primetime game than these two teams that are up and rising and convincing teams down the road for the future for both conferences and throughout the NFL. But it's just hard to bet against Detroit. I got to go with Detroit here to get, I believe it would be a 7th straight win and going to 8-1. It's Detroit's season.
They want a Super Bowl, man. They want it badly.
Yeah, and
they really, really want it. You can just tell by the look of a team.
Exactly. You just get that vibe, and Dan Campbell, he just wants it, and that just feeds off on the players, and they want it. So, props to Detroit right there. But to close out Week 10, we got Monday Night Football. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams. What is your prediction?
I'm going with LA here. I like them. Compared to Miami, they're night and day, a lot better. But both these teams are kind of Miami just look not good. Like, even with Tua back, they just haven't been able to get it done. Like, they haven't been able to throw the ball or run it well. It's just, they have a chance, good, but it's just they're 2-6, and it's like, what do you do in this situation where you're 2-6 and you just can't get it going? It's like opposite of last year. I think there was a stat that said over the Broncos game, they scored 70 points. Like, up to a certain point, they only scored 70 points the entire season. It really shows you the night and day between this year and last year. As for the Rams, they got their receivers back. I know Nakua got ejected last game. Hopefully he'll be back, playing, which he should be. Hopefully him and Cup can tear it up on the field, which they've always been doing, which is good. LA, I think they're going to win this game just because they're doing well in the division. It's all tied up there, but I think they've made a very strong push since they've lost their 2 receivers. Once they got them back, they've come back a lot stronger. I think they definitely win this game.
Yeah, the Rams have won 3 straight, just getting healthier and, of course, have guys that are stepping up. Stafford's still playing, very good football at that. The Dolphins, I mean, there's no doubt that Tua is the right quarterback for them. I mean, when he's in there, they're more competitive. They're more of a complete team, I would say. But, I mean, like, they're still losing. You know, like, at the end of it, you know, like, what does it matter? Because they're losing. They've lost 3 straight. Close games
It didn't
against
fix the situation.
close games against Arizona and Buffalo, but again, they're losing. Like Mike McDaniel, he's going to have to figure something out. You know, the offense is going to have to figure something out. Seems the only guy that's really been producing is HN. But outside of that, you know, Hill's been silent. You know, Waddle's been silent. You know, the receivers haven't really done anything. Even when Tua's back, you know, they're more involved. Don't get me wrong, but you know, there's not really a level of impact at the moment. I don't know when that clicks or if that clicks, but for the Dolphins, they're going to need it to happen on this game because they need to win badly. But the Rams are just riding high on the momentum wave. Sean McVay's got something brewing. They got something going. They're healthier. Kupp, Nakua, just good. That defense, you know, they're making plays. You know, a lot of pressure, a lot of turnovers.
They stepped up a lot.
Big props to the Rams in that defense, and it's a young defense at that. It's just the Dolphins, man. Like they're in a funk, and they got to try to dig their way out of it. It's just kind of hard to do so, and going up against a Rams team with a lot of momentum, it's going to make it even more challenging. But I'm gonna go with the Rams to get the win here at home. And the Rams, you know, they're going to want to try to remain in that division. You know, they're second place at the moment, so we'll see what happens. But I got the Rams winning. But guys, that is Week 10 predictions. I want to thank Meme Steeler, a.k.a. Brennan, for joining me along with these predictions. Do you have anything to say before we head off out?
Well, thanks for having me. I think so far this season's shaped up to be pretty well. I like the look of the Steelers. If I want to talk about them so far, it's nice to have only 2 losses on the year. I haven't felt that since, 2017? It's been a long time. I miss those years. Hopefully we can get back to the playoffs, get a win in the playoffs finally. It's been way too long.
Way too long, long overdue. And just to see an offense just, gelling and getting points on the board and yards at that is refreshing. It's been a long time. And I'm loving what I'm seeing. Just continue to build on that. And just with the second half of the schedule, just keep doing what you're doing just a little bit more and just showcase that, you guys are legit. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Brendan, I want to thank you for coming on here. Guys, that's it for the Week 10 predictions. Let us know your thoughts and opinions and predictions down in the comment section. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!